The perfect mix of classic and contemporary Christian music, Solid Rock Radio WCSR. Live from high atop the Arch in St. Louis, Missouri, and the Oak Island Fishing Pier in Oak Island, North Carolina, it's the Great Speckled Bird Hour.
What a beautiful thought I am thinking concerning a great speckled bird.
Now your host for this hour, Ed Bergier and Rob O'Brien.
Welcome to the Great Speckled Bird Hour once again. This is episode number 73.
Is it raining there?
It has been most of the morning, windy and rainy, and we had 2 tornado warnings like on top of each other, overlapping.
So were you like in the basement that you don't have?
We don't have a basement. We have a closet that's like one of the innermost parts of the house.
There you
That's
go.
where we go.
There you go. One of those internal windows or all walls around it and all that kind of stuff.
There are not a lot of houses with basements around here.
Well, the funny thing is in Oklahoma, it's that way too. I mean, we're talking Tornado Alley and Oklahoma houses, very few are built with a basement. They all come now with what they call the tornado shelter, which you can put either in the ground in the backyard or in your basement floor. But very few homes have basements in Oklahoma. And you would think it would be the opposite.
You would think so, yeah.
I would think so, yeah. So, yeah, it's raining here, too.
Yeah.
We had like a month of drought, and now we've had 4 days of monsoon. And that's usually what happens here. It's everything's dry, and then we get so much rain that the ground can't soak it up because it's so dry, so it just runs all over everywhere. So it's wet today.
Yeah, we're pretty saturated here from last week's storm that came through, and then today's remnants of Helene, the hurricane that turned into a tropical storm, and I don't know what it is now, headed up into Ohio, looks like.
Going up to your home state.
Yep. We had.
So how was your week? Your week good?
Yeah, we were in Charlotte for a couple days this week. And got out just as they declared a tropical storm warning there from Helene. Mm-hmm. And then we came home and it started getting windy. But before that, we had a pretty good week.
Well, we have one big death we would like to talk about because it was a very sad one we heard about today. Professor McGonagall.
Yep.
From Harry Potter and also from Downton Abbey and a zillion other movies. And Maggie Smith passed away at the age of 89.
She was an incredible actress, very versatile. I loved her in Downton Abbey.
Yes.
I mean, there are a couple scenes in Harry Potter. One especially that comes to mind is when she got the big stone statues to protect the school. Mm-hmm. And she turns to the gal next to her and says, "I always wanted to use that." And the lady next to her gives her this crazy eye. Like, okay, lady.
We've had it here all these years, and I've never had an opportunity. So, I'm going to use it now. She truly was a great actress. Won an Oscar in the late 60s, back when she was just a kid, or at least, more younger, I guess is the word.
More younger, yeah.
The prime of Miss Jean Brodie, and was in a ton of movies. I mean, she was pretty much everywhere. And as she got older, it seemed like she became more famous and more popular.
More prolific, yeah. She
said that kids would always come up to her from the Harry Potter series, and she always had kids come up to her, and she always welcomed it. And she said one time, I heard this morning, one time a little kid came up to her and said, "Are you really a cat?" So rest in peace. Also, I had one that was a little bit close to me that passed away last week, John David Souther.
J.D. Souther.
J.D. Souther passed away. He was 78, and got to know his music, as a fan of Linda Ronstadt, because he wrote some stuff for her. And part of the Souther Hillman Furay band too. So yeah, it's two people that are gone from music, but luckily we still have the vinyl and the CDs,
Yes.
and some of us still even have 8-tracks and cassettes.
Some of us do. Some of us have reel-to-reel.
You still have a reel-to-reel.
I
I
have-
have
I have
reels, but I don't have
two.
anything to play them.
I have 2 of them now, and between the 2, I have about 3/4 of a deck.
Oh, I have stuff that I haven't listened to probably in 30 plus years on reel that I got to find one somewhere. I'll have to
Yeah, they're out there if you look hard
they're
enough.
there. Hey, we're gonna do a different kind of show today because we're going to not have any singing
All instrumental.
on our songs today. All instrumentals today.
And you're going to start it off. Who are you starting off with?
I'm starting off with a guy that is just an amazing guitarist. He is probably the world's premier classical guitarist, Christopher Parkening, and this is from his album Simple Gifts, 1982. We thank thee, Lord, we thank thee. On the Great Speckled Bird Hour. I don't know about you. I'm tired just from listening to that.
I don't know how his fingers do that.
I can't imagine how you can make your fingers move that quickly and so delicately. That's Christopher Parkening from his album Simple Gifts and the song We Thank Thee, Lord, We Thank Thee. Now, some of you may be saying, hey, that's not Jesus music. But you know what? It is. 'Cause
We
it
thank
talks
thee,
about Jesus.
Lord.
Yeah. And we've said, we're playing music from the 60s through today. And some of it isn't rock and roll. Some of it is, bluegrass or classical, but just any music that lifts the Lord up is just, to me, it's definitely Jesus.
Absolutely. And a lot of the classical music was written specifically to do that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So we listened to Christopher Parkening. We've also got 2 fills coming up.
You picked 2 fills.
2 fills.
2 of your 3 songs are fills. One thing good about doing an instrumental show, if you're a radio DJ, you don't have to worry about stepping on the singer when he starts singing.
No, and for those of you who don't know this, in radio, it is forbidden to what they call step on the lyrics. So if there's an intro music, just music, you can talk over that.
Right.
But as soon as the artist begins singing, you got to stop talking, or you're supposed to.
And it kind of became an art form. I mean, it was something
absolutely.
we practiced.
Yeah.
See if we can talk right up to the point where Randy or Phil or Michael Card or Daniel Amos starts singing. And if you could stop what you were saying and sound natural about it right before the lyrics started, right before the singing started, you were considered to be a good DJ.
The best ones would do it completely ad lib, and they'd know. And as you get used to a song, you could feel when that was.
Oh yeah.
But if you're not real familiar with the music, it's a little harder to do that. Now these days we've got, and with records, you could kind of tell with the record when it was going to happen. And you kind of listen to it when you're queuing it up. But now it's all digital. There's no queuing up per se, but there's countdown clocks. So.
And on the track sheets that I, as a music director, would put on the front of the albums, it would have a sheet that would have all the songs that you were available to pick from. Some songs we didn't fit the format you were in, and the first thing after the name of the song would always be intro, and it would say 0.09 seconds or 10 seconds or 1 second or abrupt, and that was important stuff for the DJs to know. There you go.
For the sheet that we do for the Great Speckled Bird Hour, I put the the intros and how it ends. So if it's a vocal just stops, or if the music fades out, or whatever, we add that in too.
So you didn't have to worry about coming up with those intros for today's show.
No, if you look, there's 0-0.
We've got a couple different styles of music. We just heard some classical. We're going to hear a little bluegrass on the show.
That'll be cool.
We're going to hear some. I would just call it Phil Keaggy because he's in a class all by himself. We're going to hear some Phil Keaggy and some other stuff too. So
trumpet.
Yes.
Trumpet music.
The other Phil.
Yes. And for those of you who are scratching your head, that's Phil Driscoll.
Phil Driscoll.
And some more kind of classical with Michael Card.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So some good music coming up. And when I brought this topic up, you were kind of a little iffy with it, but I think it's working.
No, it's great. It's a genre of music, instrumentals.
Absolutely.
You don't need to have lyrics to get yourself in any kind of music. Music can put you in so many different kinds of music.
Just talk to Koinonia. They're all practically all instrumental. And we've got some fiddle playing and some trumpet blowing coming up.
We do.
Right after this.
Don't go away. More of the Great Speckled Bird Hour with Ed and Rob coming up right after this.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
listen to the Great Speckled Bird Hour every Friday afternoon. Rob O'Brien and Ed Bergier bringing laughs, tears, music, news, and special guests. You never know what they're going to be talking about. Tune in to Solid Rock Radio every Friday at 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Central Time for the Great Speckled Bird Hour. The show also repeats on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, only on Solid Rock Radio WCSR. Thanks for staying with us. Now back to the show.
We're back. We've got Phil Driscoll coming up. Do you know who Phil Driscoll is?
I do. He blows the trumpet in Zion.
He does. He does. And funny you should say that. He's been
a brass guy.
He's been playing a musician. He's been a musician for a very long time. He started off, I read this morning, he started off playing a plastic trumpet in church. His dad was a preacher. He's a preacher's kid. And during service, he'd play this plastic trumpet during service, and that's how he got his start playing the trumpet.
I wonder, you think it had keys on it?
I don't know. It might have. I want to know who it is that thought it was a good idea to get this for him for like Christmas or whatever.
Well, it obviously turned out to be a really good idea.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It led to what we're about to hear in just a moment.
And I'll say this. He is right up there, in my opinion, with Doc Severinsen and some of the other great trumpet players.
First time you mentioned Phil Driscoll for this show, my first person that came to mind was Doc Severinsen, who is still alive, by the way.
Yes,
He's like
he just recently retired too.
Yeah.
Got out, which just blows me away.
Yeah, it is crazy.
So he's got several albums out, and he doesn't just play, he sings too. Mm-hmm. And to me, his singing sounds a lot like Joe Cocker.
Yes.
It's a little bit out there, but the guy's got a heart for God, a heart of gold and a heart for God. This is, as Ed mentioned, Blow the Trumpet in Zion from Phil Driscoll on the Great Speckled Bird Hour. Born in 1947. That's Phil Driscoll. Blow the Trumpet in Zion. He had 3 Grammy nominations and 3 Dove Awards. And he
you said that he started with a plastic trumpet in church. Well, in grade school, I took up the trumpet, and I had an actual brass trumpet, and the story just doesn't end the way his does. I mean,
not the same ending. Well,
I don't think if I picked it up, I would know which end to put in my mouth right now.
I'll bet you weren't on a musical competition on CBS and beat the Carpenters out either, did you?
Is that right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, that wasn't me. No, that had to be him. That's incredible. Gosh, what year was that?
I don't know. I believe it was late 60s.
Okay.
I couldn't find a date on it, but it was, it was some music competition show on CBS, and he beat the Carpenters.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Good stuff. He's got, and you said he actually does some sing. There were a few vocals there, but I don't know that was him.
I don't think that was him.
But he does actually do some vocals on some of his stuff too.
Yes. Very soulful, very, very, you can tell he's singing from the heart.
Okay, we've got a song coming up next from a gentleman that is an amazing guitar player. We say Phil Keaggy is the greatest guitar player that we're aware of. I mean, some people have said he's the greatest in the world. I don't know that I could go that far, but he is one of the great guitar players. This guy that we're about to hear from is maybe the fastest guitar player I have ever heard. And we're talking about Christopher Parkening. How does he move his fingers so fast? This guy too. And this is not even the best example of it on this album. This is Dennis Agajanian.
Another one I've never heard of before.
Really, really difficult name to pronounce, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Got to see him at the Guthrie Bluegrass Festival in Guthrie, Oklahoma, back in the early 2000s. And I remembered his name from working in Christian radio, because there were some Christian radio songs that he had. Mm-hmm. But he's mainly a bluegrass guy. And, of course, most bluegrass guys are also into Christian music, too. And this is from his album, which is entitled Pure Acoustic, 1998 release. Dennis Agajanian with Lonesome Fiddle Blues. And if you listen closely, I think you're going to recognize this tune maybe by another name. Here's Dennis on the Great Speckled Bird Hour. That's Dennis Agajanian from his album entitled Pure Acoustic Lonesome Fiddle Blues. Did you recognize a different tune in there?
I
somewhere?
could kind of make out something that I recognized.
Well, if you're a fan of...
Reminds me of Charlie Daniels' band.
Charlie Daniels, yeah. Devil Went Down to Georgia. I'm not sure which came first, but I'm guessing this one did because it's a pretty old song. Dennis has been a musician and recording both bluegrass and Christian music for a long time now. He was part of Billy Graham Crusades in the 70s and 80s. He would play, and also has been an Entertainer of the Year award winner, Living Legend award winner, and there are other songs on this album that go so fast. And it's pure guitar. I mean, it's some of the songs are just pure guitar, and he's playing it, and it's an amazing thing to listen to.
Hey, we've got 2 overtures coming up in the next segment.
Excellent.
One from Michael Card, one from Daniel Amos. Do not go away.
Hey, this is Randy Stonehill, and you're listening to the Great Speckled Bird Hour on WCSR Solid Rock Radio.
What grows in the forest? Trees? Sure. Know what else grows in the forest? Our imagination, our sense of wonder, and our family bonds grow too. Because when we disconnect from this and connect with this, we reconnect with each other and build family memories we will carry with us forever. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. It's easy. Just put in your zip code to find family-friendly outdoor destinations near you. You'll also find guides to free activities, games, and amazing forest facts. Give the magic of the outdoors to your kids and reconnect with your family. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
More classic and contemporary Christian music, fewer interruptions, and totally free. Streaming 24 hours a day. You're listening to Solid Rock Radio WCSR DB in Southport, North Carolina. Now back to Ed and Rob and the Great Speckled Bird Hour.
I had to laugh. I was just looking at the song that I've got coming up from Daniel Amos, and I've been listening to the song since late 70s.
Long time.
It's on the second side of the Shotgun Angel album, you know, the album with the old Studebaker pickup truck.
Yeah.
And for the life of me, I can't find what year that Studebaker pickup truck was from, but I'm guessing it was like mid-late 40s. The second side is kind of a rock opera kind of thing, which was unusual for them. The one thing I'll say about Daniel Amos, they really broadened their horizons after their first album.
Every album is different.
Different feel, different flavor. And they've done a very good job of staying with that. But going back to the Shotgun Angel album was their second album. The first side is a lot of good music. In fact, the song Shotgun Angel, somebody else had written but never performed. And one of the guys they were working with said, hey, why don't you try this song? And they pulled it up, and so they did it. But the second side of the album is this rock opera, and it starts with, and I had to laugh, the first song on the second side is called the finale, the Bereshith or Overture. Bereshith, which in Hebrew it doesn't include the H at the end, but it means in the beginning. So that's how Genesis starts. But the album, the finale, starts with in the beginning, the overture. I think that's just hilarious.
The in the beginning finale.
Yes, exactly.
I like it.
It's Daniel Amos written all over it.
Great music too. It's terrific.
And if you listen to it, you'll recognize this is the song that we end the show with, or notes of the song we end the show with. This is Daniel Amos, of course. So that was Daniel Amos. The first song on the second side, which introduces their kind of rock opera thing, which
I was kind of hoping you'd just play the rest of the whole side of the album because it's amazing.
Yeah, tempt me. It's just awesome, and as you could tell from that music, all the orchestration is just incredible.
Yeah,
and we were musing over whether that was a bass, a string bass, or a cello. There towards the end, I'm pretty sure that was a bass. I don't think a cello goes that low.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, what a great...
We know it wasn't a plastic trumpet.
Not a plastic trumpet. No. There might be one in here, though. Although
I wouldn't be surprised.
I know in Sail Me Away there's a French horn, and I am of the opinion that any song that has a French horn in it is a good song.
Oh, man. Phil Driscoll probably used a French horn from time to time.
He might have, yeah.
I would.
Yeah,
I would think so.
those brass players, they tend to play whatever's brass, they play it. I played tuba a little bit in high school.
Did you?
And I wouldn't even attempt anything else. And even now, if I picked it up, like you said, I wouldn't know which end to play out of. So
they tell you had to firm your lips up and things like that. You had to practice doing the
do all that
kind of
stuff. In the mouthpiece with with nothing attached to it. Yep.
Sound like you were calling ducks or something.
Yep.
Dad had the shotgun next to me, and I had my trumpet mouthpiece out there going.
And all the ducks went running.
That's pretty much all I could have done with it anyway. But hey, Michael Card is next. We have another overture. Overture here. Now, Michael did a trilogy of albums in the early 80s on the life of Christ. The first one was The Final Word. Scandalon was the second one, and Known by the Scars was the third. And then in the late 80s, he released all three in a compact disc collection together called The Life. And as The Life begins, it's the entire story, the life of Christ. As it begins, we have an overture that kind of hits on a few of the different songs, a few of the different themes. So if you're familiar with Michael's music, you'll know this. I do have to say he does sing a little bit at the end, so I kind of cheated a little bit, but...
Well, Phil Driscoll had some singing in his song, too.
He did, too. Okay, so we're even. The overture to the trilogy from Michael Card on the Great Speckled Bird Hour. kind of a worshipful feel there, don't you think?
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful music.
Oh, my goodness. Michael Card, the overture from The Life, which is his trilogy of albums, which include The Final Word, Scandalon, and Known by the Scars. And we've mentioned this before, but he and John Michael Talbot, probably the great theologians of contemporary Christian music.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good stuff.
Great music.
Hey, speaking of legends of contemporary Christian music, didn't you say that there's a new Chuck Girard album coming out?
Yes, Chuck Girard. He's released one single from it. He's releasing another one today, or has released it today. It is called, let me find it here, Moonrise Serenade. I always want to say Moonlight Serenade. It was Moonrise Serenade. And he's released at least one song from that. And I listened to a little bit of it, and it's amazing. The guy still sounds great.
Chuck Girard. It's still Chuck Girard, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's I'm sure will be available online.
I'm going to be getting the music off of it and putting it on the station here. So
excellent.
You'll be able to
Are they going to do a vinyl print of it, or
I don't know.
A vinyl pressing, I should say.
Could be. Knowing him, he probably will, or try.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, I'm going to be wrapping up the show with music from another Phil. We heard from Phil Driscoll. We're hearing from another Phil.
Music from another Phil.
Yep. On the instrumental version of the Great Speckled Bird Hour.
Don't touch that dial. Ed and Rob will be right back with more of the Great Speckled Bird Hour following these messages.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear. Because for years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
If I could be you.
And you could be me?
For just 1 hour.
If you could find a way.
To get inside.
Each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Your home for classic and contemporary Christian music. This is Solid Rock Radio WCSR. We now return you to the Great Speckled Bird Hour.
I know I say this every time, but time flies when we're doing the Great Speckled Bird Hour.
Even with no lyrics, time goes fast.
So we were getting down to the end of segment 2, and I'm thinking, oh, we're only in segment 2. Wow, cool. And 10 seconds later, we're in segment 4.
Yeah, that's how it happens.
Just goes so fast.
Hey, I want to send out real quick birthday wishes to my sister, Deborah Ann. Celebrated a birthday this past week, the 25th, and I would like to say happy birthday, Deb.
Happy birthday, Deborah Ann.
I'm not going to tell you what year, but it is a milestone birthday, and she is older than me.
She's older than you.
And I'm 66.
So no matter how old you are, she will always be older than you.
Yes, indeed.
Comforting thought for you.
Love you, sister, and happy birthday.
Well, happy birthday. Hope she's listening. I'm going to give a shout out to our friend Mark, who has let us know that he is listening.
What is his last name again?
Which one?
Oh, that Mark. Okay, never mind. Okay, I know you're talking.
You know, for the sake of anonymity, I'm not going to say. But I was thinking maybe he could just play the show at the event he's got coming up in a little bit instead of getting up and speaking.
Talk about getting fruit thrown at you.
Yeah, because everybody brings heads of lettuce and tomatoes with them to them.
It's pretty much a common Assemblies of God thing to bring rotten fruit with you to the service.
I always do, just in case.
In case you're not happy with what's being said, but
yeah, awesome. So thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in, Mark. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it. I know you're busy and have a very busy schedule, but we appreciate you.
Fall started on this past Sunday, correct?
Yes, it was. I believe it was Sunday. Was the first day of fall. First
We're
full
in
day.
fall, which means we've got Halloween coming up. We've got Thanksgiving coming up, Christmas and New Year's. So we're going to have a lot of fun things in the next few months.
We're planning on doing another Halloween show sometime in October. If we can get our schedules together to get it together.
Yep.
We're gonna do that. So that was fun last year. It came off better than I was expecting it was going to. It was the first time the Great Speckled Bird did a show on a Halloween show.
And as we're on radio, nobody could throw fruit at us. So
Correct.
that was good. Yeah.
Correct. We have one more instrumental number to play for you today on this special edition, the instrumental edition of the Great Speckled Bird. Although we can't say it was totally instrumental because we've had a couple songs that had words in them.
A few
but
words
they're
here and there.
mostly instrumental.
But they were all good words.
This one is the other Phil Keaggy. He's recorded over 50 albums, just himself. I don't know, I couldn't really get a comprehensive list of all the instrumental only albums he's done, but I know he's done quite a few. I have at least 2 of them in my collection, if not more than that. And watching this guy play is just, it's a work of art. He is just an absolute artist. He is still going strong with his craft. This is from his album Beyond Nature, and the cut title is In the Light of the Common Day, from Phil Keaggy. Phil Keaggy, born in 1951 from Youngstown, Ohio.
Yeah, he's an Ohio kid.
Was my old stomping grounds when I was a teenager. That was Beyond Nature, recorded and released in 1991 on Myrrh Records. And that is one of those all-instrumental albums.
And it's a beautiful album.
Yeah.
That, Master and the Musician is another. And what was the other one that you mentioned?
Wind in the Wheat.
Wind in the Wheat.
Yeah.
And probably more. I
know there's more.
Top of my head, I can't think of titles, but I know there's more.
Probably 10 more, at least.
Mm-hmm.
That are just all instrumental. Amazing musician. You know, it's not just his incredible guitar playing, considering especially he's missing a finger on his strumming hand.
Absolutely.
But he's also got a great voice, a great singing voice that, in my opinion, sounds a lot like, in fact, sounds more like Paul McCartney than Paul McCartney does.
And he's a super nice person, too.
Well, I haven't met him personally, but I've heard.
He's so gracious and just such a nice guy to talk to. And I really cherish the few minutes we got to spend with him and Randy up in a suburb of Chicago last October.
Yeah.
When they were there at a concert together. It was just a great evening. And whether Phil's playing rock and roll or just beautiful instrumental compositions, it really draws you closer to the Lord. We
mentioned that Chuck Sherrard is coming out with a new album entitled Moonrise Serenade. The first single he released from it is called Blessed Be the Name of My Rock, 2024. And he says on his website, it's a reimagining of the song from his 1983 CD, Name Above All Names.
Okay.
So he's
looking forward to hearing that. I have not heard it yet.
I listened to a little bit of it before the show, and it's very good. It's Chuck Sherrard.
He has not released the entire album yet.
I don't believe he has, no. But he was supposed to be releasing a second single today, but I haven't seen it come across yet. But I'm looking forward to that. We'll be getting it on the air at WCSR.
Well, I think that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's an excellent idea. So we heard from Christopher Parkening today. We also heard from, we've got Christopher Parkening,
Dennis,
Phil Keaggy. Dennis, I'll let you try it.
I'll let you say it.
I have to say it slow.
I'll get something or other.
Dennis Agajanian. Agajanian. I can't remember now. I spelled it out phonetically too. He's an amazing guitarist, and his bluegrass just it blues. You know, rock and roll rocks, bluegrass blues.
Yep,
and it's just wonderful stuff. Michael Card also.
I caught just hit me. Stevie Ray Vaughan reminds me of Dennis, whatever his last name. His playing kind of reminds me of Stevie Ray's.
Okay.
So
all right.
Just how do his fingers do that? Yeah, that kind of thing.
It's amazing.
Yep.
It's amazing stuff. So what are your big plans for the weekend?
Well, I said last time I was going to make bread.
Yes.
Over the weekend, and I did, and I made pumpkin cookies instead.
You made pumpkin cookies.
Yes, and they were very good, by the way.
They looked very similar to the ones I make. We're going to have to compare recipes.
I grabbed a recipe. I used to make my mom's recipe, and I thought I wanted to do something different this time, so I grabbed one off the internet. I can't tell you where I got it from. I don't remember. I thought that looks good, and they turned out really nice.
But did you make a copy of it?
I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did. I am going to make bread this weekend because I did get the lecithin in. The lecithin came in, which is it's a dough conditioner.
Now that we have video and audio, we're going to have to get smell-o-rama.
Yes.
So we can smell your bread. Yes.
And you mentioned doing a recipe show.
I think we should do that sometime.
We should do that.
Maybe with the holidays coming, pick a few of your favorite holiday recipes.
We could do that. Share some recipes and
maybe share some pictures of the recipes.
We've talked about doing a home improvement show.
Which
could be a lot of fun. So we've got a lot of plans for a lot of great shows for this season of the Great Speckled Bird Hour. And hopefully, once we get a few in the can, we're going to be releasing it on podcast. So that's the next big
fingers.
step.
You don't have to do that. I think we're going to do it. I think it's going to happen.
I think so too. Here is another one from Daniel Amos. The song we always end the show with. We've been doing it since the 70s.
Yep.
Closing the show with this song and Sail Me Away. Hope you all have a great weekend if you're listening on the Friday show. If not, and it's Tuesday, then never mind.
God bless us, everyone.
And the land is longing for dim and distant shore of my life. My love, I heard the pilgrim's call. I saw it was forsaking all. I cried because I knew, yes I knew, it meant my leaving you. But the riches that I gained outweigh the losses that remain in my life. Now, sail me away, sail me away. I wanna go sail me away, sail me away. I wanna go sail me away, sail me away. My love, the man is older now, yet wisdom was the guiding light that led him on to foreign lands. Though he's never left your side, and the treasure that I bear is now all I seek to share in my life. Sail me away, sail me away. I wanna go sail me away, sail me away. I wanna go sail me away, sail me away. I wanna go sail me away, sail me away. I wanna go sail me away, sail me away. I wanna go
Solid Rock Radio WCSR DB in Southport, North Carolina.